Ladies and gentlemen, I am yours truly, the legend himself, Labzy, aka the best motherfucker you ever met in the history of your life, and I can prove it to, even though I shouldn't. The most loyal, the most honest, and the most respected. And first, before I get into my next guest, I do want to make sure that I post more about the interview that I did with the I Am Stronger podcast with Kyle Austin. And it was my first international podcast where I'm the guest. So that was a tick on that one. So that was one of the great highlights now of 2026. Okay, so just wanted to get that out of the way. So my next guest is an artist as well as a businessman. He has his own business with fencing and loves his music. And I met this man, I don't exactly remember where. I don't know if it was at Shot Kickers. I couldn't really remember where exactly. But such a great guy, and you just see a lot of ambition and a lot of potential with. He has his own podcast as well, which you should check out as well. Such an amazing guest, such also including myself. I was on there as well, which you guys should check it out. And yeah, I mean, it wouldn't. And I was on his show, and it took me a while to have him on my show. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Dee-Robz, West Side, fellow West Sider. You feel me?
Let's go. That's it.
First,
That's it.
first of all, bro, how you doing, man? How's your mental health?
I'm doing good, bro. The start of this year's been really good. Had a nice little holiday, little getaway. Nothing too special, but just went to Canberra. Went to Summernats, the car festival there. So got to get away and then come back into work. Got into the swing of things and balls rolling with all my work stuff, and then a lot of music stuff coming up, and it's the year started off really strong, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I love that, man. Now, talk to me about your music, man, and tell me about what inspired you to do music.
Can you hear me all good? It's not.
Yeah, sound is fine. Yeah.
Um, Music. My music taste comes from my mom. My mom's a big hip hop head. So growing up, she was always had like CDs, Snoop and Tupac and Biggie and all those kinds of guys. So I was always listening to them when I was younger, and then started to form my own taste for hip hop, and like got a little bit more into Aussie hip hop and like some more underground stuff in America, and like obviously still love all the mainstream hip hop guys in America. J. Cole is one of my favorites. Like, yeah, I just love the way that people tell stories and the message that they convey and stuff like that in such a brief period. To be able to connect with someone as strong as some artists do with a song, that's what I want to do. That's how I want to approach my artistry, you know.
Yeah, and I've always loved about what music does, especially just as you said, like people use poetry in a form of music to really let their feelings out and really tell their story out. And what's crazy is that majority of people or artists, they just do it for themselves, and then they randomly see people connecting with them and like wanting to jump on the journey with them and see where the journey takes them and stuff, and which does create that fame and stuff like that, which has always been very fascinating in my eyes, right? And so how did you settle on the name Dee-Robz?
It's just pretty much my initials, like DR, and then like everyone always called me D growing up. It was always D. and yeah, so I just got Dee-Robz. It was kind of, I had it's funny. I always have this story of like when I was like first starting to like try to be a rapper in early high school days and shit like that. My name was Future, but it was spelt like Fytcha or some weird shit like that.
Okay.
And it was like around the time when Future was like starting to blow up and shit like that. And like
Yeah.
copying him, I'm like, bro, like this, I didn't, I swear. Okay. So yeah, kind of like my name kind of adapted to a few different things, and then like I think for me, Dee-Robz is it's not just me as an artist, it's still me, you know what I mean? So I think it's close to my name. So like it's like even if you know me as Dion, you still know me as D, you know? Like I'm still the same person as I am as an artist, you know, like yeah.
Okay. No, I like that. Now, talk to me about the first moment where you thought, you know what, I'm gonna give this rap thing a go. Like, when was that moment for you?
Um so that is actually a deeper question than you realize. For me it started where so I had a partner at the time, and I kind of was like, I was always writing in high school. I would always write my little raps and stuff like that, and just it was more of just an expression back then for me, you know. And then I had a partner at the time, and she passed away. And I kind of realized that life is like way too fucking short. I was doing my carpentry apprenticeship at the time. Yeah, I was kind of going down that route, going down the tradie route kind of thing, just fell into that kind of same thing a lot of males do in Australia, you know, like just go the tradie route and like see what
Mm.
happens. And I kind of did that, and then yeah, when Monica passed away, I I was like, fuck this, like life's way too short. I need to get off my ass and do what I want to do with my life, kind of thing. So that kind of pushed me down the rabbit hole, as well as COVID. Like, she passed away like probably like way before COVID, but then like as I was starting my artistry, it kind of came into COVID times. So that kind of pushed me even more down the rabbit hole, and it was just like I think just divine timing, bro. Like the way that things happened, it was like, all right, cool. I want to start a business. I want to be an artist. I want to do all these things, travel the world and all these things. And like, I've really just dived into that head first because I know how short life is and how quick it can be taken from you. I've seen it many a times, you know. So yeah, I live my life as best as I know how, and I just try to do the best with the cards I've been dealt, and I think I'm doing pretty well so far. So yeah,
Yeah, man. And first of all, man, my condolences, man. And I know what that's like, man. I've lost a few people in my time too, and these are the people that that you love so much, and they love you unconditionally, and then life just takes them away. But the thing is, they're not necessarily gone. Their spirit really is still around you as long as you still remember them. And they, I don't know, it's like they still kind of lead you into a path, a little bit of direction, if that makes sense. Like somehow they do that spiritually.
yeah,
And yeah, so I definitely know what that feels like, man, and hence why obviously I do what I do as well, because that was obviously the encouragement for what I do too. And and yeah, bro. Tell me about your very first studio session as D-Robz. What was that like?
hmm. Well, we had little studio sessions when we were in high school, you know what I mean? We'd be in the walk-in wardrobe, you know, and like me and my mate would be in there with that laptop and the microphone and shit like that. So that was
Yeah.
the early days, you know. But in terms of first official studio session would probably be with Michelle Kroll, who is also my mentor. Um, he's a producer and artist mentor, and also now a relationship coach, and he does many things. He's a very smart guy, and I've been working with him for the last probably 2 to 3 years, I think. And yeah, so I think my first studio session would have been with him. Yeah, probably what? Oh, actually, no, that's not right. I just realized my first official studio session was with Bren Patrica. He has a studio as Dreammakers near in Tullamarine.
Nice.
But back then, when I worked with him, he was in his home studio.
Right.
And we made my first song, Friend with Weed. So yeah, that would have been my first studio session. That was cool. It was awesome to be like in that vibe and doing that kind of thing. It was cool. Like I definitely have come a long way. Like you learn so much. Like you as you go on. So like yeah, it's definitely a different vibe now compared to when it was back then.
Yeah, and that was obviously the moment where you thought to yourself, you know what, I can do this. Like this, like this is fun. Like I love this shit. Like was that did that kind of also gave you that motivation to keep going as well?
Yeah, 100%. So like I think every time I hit a little milestone in my career, you know what I mean? Like when first started doing shows, like live shows and stuff like that, and then like now creating all the connections that I've had, and then first getting on the radio and doing my first podcast, and then like all these things. I think every time I hit one of those little milestones, it gives me a little fire, a little kick up the ass, like, all right, let's go, yeah, next thing, next thing. Like I'm always hungry and keep trying to better myself,
Yeah, nice. And you've also got your own merch as well. West Side Plug, right?
Yeah.
Which I continue to rock with that t-shirt that you got me, bro.
But yeah,
Um,
I seen you at the rap and breaking bread
yeah,
event.
bro. Fuck yeah, man, of course. Gotta let the people know, man. Gotta let the people know.
That's it.
Um, and yeah, but so what what inspired the merch idea? Because obviously everyone's got merch, of course, and everyone's in their thing. What did you feel about yours that was so different?
For me, part of it was, if I'm going to be honest, it was um, trying to go down avenues that I kind of knew about. Like
Okay.
I've always been a heavy cannabis user and stuff like that. So it's always been around, and like I know a lot of people that smoke, and like it's a very social thing, and like the groups and stuff, like they're always like expanding and all these kind of things that come with cannabis. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. Like it's something I'm passionate about. Like I love hanging out with like-minded people and stuff like that. So I thought try and do something that's also different, like with me as an artist. I'm not just an artist. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman as well. You know what I mean? And I really look at my artistry that way in terms of like, okay, what can I do different that not many people are doing? You know what I mean? So that's why I kind of come up with like the glassware and the grinders and all the ashtrays and the rolling trays and all that kind of stuff. Because like I know there's people out there that are doing it, but in terms of Melbourne and the western suburbs and that kind of thing, like I don't really see it happening. So I tried to be that for myself, and bring it over here.
Mm.
So yeah, that's kind of where that came from. It was kind of like a something new that I could do that no one else was doing that would get me some different perspectives.
Okay. No, I like that. And now, and I agree, like you are on the businessman because obviously you have your own business as well with the fencing as well.
But
Now, tell me, how do you balance music with that? Do you kind of have to do, because obviously fencing can be very like not distracting per se, but like very busy, right? There are moments where you get calls and fucking a list out here, and then moments where nothing's really happening, and then and it gives you a chance to do music. But then again, freaking the list is, packed up again when they want shit done. Like, how do you balance that? How do you balance being a businessman with being an artist?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I think that's kind of why I enjoy doing what I'm doing because it gives me the kind of freedom to balance things. Like, yeah, as you say, some periods it might be not that many jobs coming in, especially as like for the most part, I've been working on my own. Had a few boys come in and out and help me here and there and stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, I'm on my own. So it kind of helped being able to be like, all right, sweet, I can book a job and I can spend a week on this job. If it's a big job, I can spend a week there and I can do my thing and make my money. And then the next week, all right, cool, I've got a little bit of money in the bank. I can do this and I can kind of work on some music and rah rah rah, and kind of balancing it like that. But it's gotten a lot harder lately. The last say probably 12 months to 18 months, maybe it's been like I've been trying to expand a little bit more and pick up more work and have a few boys underneath me and stuff like that, and trying to expand a little bit. And it's been very difficult, but I think I'm slowly starting to find the balance again. I've started to have to become more of an organized person. I've never really been that like rigid and organized and planning things out and writing everything down and having a calendar and putting all the things in and stuff like that. I've never really been that kind of person, but I'm that person now because I know that the things that I want to do and the places that I want to go and stuff like that, that these are the things I have to put in place for myself, to be better and do better,
Yeah, because that does happen. I mean, especially when you have your own business, especially in the trading field as well, where you are going to have moments where you are going to have a lot of work, and there are moments where you don't have work, and then it becomes really quiet for a while, and you don't know why. Like, and then you start to overthink, like, I don't know what's happening, what's going on. Is it me? Am I doing something wrong? Da, 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 da. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just who knows, whatever it could be. But you always end up back on your feet, bro.
Yeah.
For real, you're always back on your feet, man, and and the thing is, man, like I see you, bro. Like you're getting that work done, bro, especially with the fencing and shit like that. But I've seen the work that you do. It's crazy, absolutely crazy, bro. So like,
Yeah.
what is it? Okay, so tell me about fencing. Like, what makes a good fencer, in your opinion, or if that's the right word? But what makes a good man that does fencing?
I think just someone who like is willing to do the job properly. Like you sometimes there might be obstacles that you haven't seen and stuff like that. And I've heard of fence guys like just randomly putting stuff on the bill at the end of the job and not having spoken to the customer or anything like that, and it's completely unexpected. And it's like it's understandable from the fence's perspective because there's been more work and more shit that he's had to do, whatever. But there has to be that communication with the customer, and I think that is often lost in translation or like whatever happens. But I hear that a lot with customers where the communication is horrible. Like they don't speak to the customers and saying, well, this is what time I'm coming and when I'll be there. And if they're not going to be able to be there, they don't tell them they're not coming and all that kinds of things. And like, I understand things happen. Like I've had to cancel sometimes on quotes and stuff like that because I've been too busy on the tools or vice versa. And yeah, it's just about like, yeah, being a good communicator. And I think I'm learning that about life in general. Like you need to be able to communicate with your loved ones, with your friends, with like you need to be able to communicate effectively to be able to have good connections and be able to do the things you want to do.
No, I definitely agree with that, and I'm glad how you said that the communication is a very big thing, especially when it comes to customers, because obviously in my time, like we've had like tradies come to the house try to fix shit, and they say they're gonna come this time, and then they end up coming like an hour later or something like that, and like there's not enough like communication and shit like that. But it's like, well, it shows that I can't trust you, and you don't take your job seriously. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, shit happens. You know, you need to might get quick stop to freaking Bunnings to get something on the way or whatever. But give us a call to let us know that, to let us know where you are. You know what I mean? Because that way, and then you'll have the audacity to be like, oh yeah, I'm charging you for labor as well. But it's like, well, you weren't even here for this amount of time, and you're charging me for that too. You know,
I think
and
that's
what's
something.
crazy? Sorry, I'll get. What I'll say is, but what's crazy as well is like when, especially, I don't know if you've heard this, is that there are tradies that are accepting like deposits like for the job, and then they don't even rock up.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of happens on both ends though as well. Like I've had customers that will pay for the because I ask for a 50% deposit up front to cover materials so I can organize the job or whatever. That's purely materials, you know what I mean? Like we spend that and then we come and do the job, and then after the job's completed, we get full payment. And I've had customers that will just refuse to pay after you finish the job, you know? So like it happens on both ends. I think it's like anything in life. There's good and bad in everything. It's unfortunate that sometimes it happens with tradies. They take people's money and they just run off, you know. But that's I don't understand how people expect to live like that. You know what I mean? Like to always be like fucking people over and doing dodgy shit and stuff like that. Like I don't know how people can live with themselves being that type of person. You know what I mean? Like some people, I guess, just don't give a fuck. You know. But yeah, I'll always try to hold my business and also myself with integrity and same as like with going to events. And as I think maybe when you were speaking about how we met, I think maybe that was at Tea from Breaking Bread. I think it might have been at one of the dinners, the networking nights.
Oh yeah, one of the networking events. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, shout out Tees in the comments there too.
Hell yeah, hell
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think that's where we met. But yeah, so I always try to hold myself with integrity and respect and stuff like that with whatever I'm doing. You know, like I can't be the type of person that like rocks up and then just stuffs someone around and whatever. Like I would hate that to be done to me, so I try my best not to do that to anyone else. You know.
Yeah, of course, and obviously you would have had people that have been screwed over by other people, and then when they see you, it's like, oh well, I don't know if I can trust this guy because I've been screwed over many times. Da da da. How do you how do you let them know that they are in safe hands in a professional way, and to make them, to relieve them from their stress?
I think me just being me. I think I'm just a genuine person. So when I rock up to someone's house, I introduce myself, tell them exactly what I'm there for. I may give them a compliment on their house or their pets or something like that. Like I just be myself and I do what I do, and they more often than not are comfortable to go with me for the job and stuff like that. So like, and I'll be honest. Often I'll quote, and the customer will tell me like, "Look, you're not the cheapest person that's quoted the job, but we want to go with you." You know what I mean? So I think it helps to do the right thing and be respectful and be professional. And you can if someone knows you're worth it, they're gonna pay for that. You know what I mean? Like it's with anything in life, with music, with fencing, with anything, with even time. You know what I mean? If someone is thinks that you're worth their time, they're gonna spend that time and money with you. You know?
Yeah. No, I get that because again, because it just feels like nowadays we live in a world where everything is a scam, and it's like you have to be a scammer to kind of basically if you can't beat them, join them in that kind of situation,
Yeah.
and that's where kind of people lose hope sometimes when they want something professionally done and they just can't trust anybody and shit like that. But you just got to be true to yourself, bro. You just got to be true because there are going to be people out there that know how to do the job, know how to be professional in what they do, etc. And yeah, they just got to have a bit of faith, no matter how little it is. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, man. But is there a lot of knowledge involving fencing? Like, or is there a lot of math to it?
Like I think to be a good fencer, I think there's a lot of fencers out there that are just doing it. You know what I mean? Like I see a lot of the time I'll go to fix a job and they've had the fence for 5 years or something, and it's falling down because the guys that they got it to do it 5 years ago put the holes 300 deep. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's standards and stuff and like minimums that like I do as a good fencer. The bad thing about the fencing industry is there's not really a qualification or any kind of I guess governing thing to say like, oh, this is like what I know as a fencer and this is what I do, whatever, you know, like there's nothing to say that really to customers, but that's so, yeah, it really comes down to trust and being able to convey that trust with customers. So like for me, I do like minimum 600 holes, like 1 bag of concrete per hole, depending on what height fence we're doing, stuff like that. Like standards will change. And yeah, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of things that do go into it. I think I've been doing it for a while now, so it's kind of just become second nature for me. Yeah, I've had a few guys now that have come in that I've tried to teach that like struggle to pick it up. I guess everyone's different. Like it's not that difficult. Like if you will, I think it's the same with anything. If you're willing to put the time in and like hold yourself accountable and be like, all right, sweet, I'm gonna do this, you know, then you'll do it. But if you're not, then you're not.
Yeah, that's right. If it's for you, it's for you. It's not, it's not, you know? And you can tell people that are committed, bro. Like, you can tell the people that are very committed to wanting to learn, and because it'll show these little things like showing up on time, asking a lot of questions, no matter how annoying it is. But,
Yeah,
these are the ones that want to learn and actually want to improve. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And yeah,
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
interesting, right?
I've had a lot of guys that I've like tried to have teach and like to try and have as my lead hand, you know, and go down that avenue. But yeah, it hasn't worked out so many times. Like I've been shafted a bunch of times by people and saying, yeah, I'm ready to stand up and do all the things that need to be done and shit like that, and they're not ready, you know.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that it keeps happening, but I'm sure I'm positive this year I'll be able to find a good, consistent set of hands that will be able to help me throughout the year. Like I'm going to be putting out ads soon. I'm doing more on the back end of the business and stuff for the fencing, and same with the music and stuff. I've got my EP releasing in late March. I'm going to
Nice.
release in late March, so got a lot of back end stuff that I'm doing for that. Going to have a launch party for that. There's a big announcement. I won't say too much yet because it's
Boss?
very, very early days. But
Yes.
I'm fairly confident that I've got a really big name to be able to help me with my EP launch. So they're going to be on the card, and it's going to be fucking sick. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be
Hell
awesome.
yeah, bro. Hell yes. Hell yes. And now, all right. So I want to go back to the music. So talk to me about, which I should have asked earlier, but when it comes to support, right? And you're telling friends, even family as well, that you want it, like you're gonna try this rap shit. Tell me about the support. Like, do you feel that you have the support of this path of music?
I think my like inner circles are like pretty supportive, as supportive as they can be. Like I think often, well, not often, but I think sometimes artists will like expect like their inner circles to do a shit ton for their artistry when it's like I watched this video and it's like your hometown or your inner circle or your inner vicinity is not your audience. That's just who's there right now. You know what I mean? You haven't met your audience yet. You haven't done enough
Mm,
to see who is your real audience and who's gonna fuck with you and who wants to listen to your music. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I think for me, I'm still finding my audience. I'm like, I'm right there. Like with this EP launch is going to be my real run at like trying to grasp my audience, you know. At the moment, like up till currently, I've just been just putting in the footings, you know. Same with fencing, you know. You got to put solid foundation, solid footings, and build it up from there, you know. So I think I'm at the period now where I'm going to start expanding and doing a lot more with my music and shit like that. Yeah, I've got some really cool features that'll be coming on the EP. Well, I definitely have one feature locked in that's already recorded and on the EP, but there will be hopefully a second. But whether or not we're going to have the time to fit it in there, it's still late and in the works. But we'll see how we go. But yeah, I'm keen for this year, man. Like I'm putting in a lot of work this year. I have been, but I think there's always another level, you know. You can always do more. No matter where you are, who you are, whatever you're doing, like there's always another gear that you can reach. And some people don't have that. Some people don't have that, like that hunger and drive to like, oh, I've got to do better. Some people are happy just living their lives, and like sometimes I wish I could be that person, because it would be a lot simpler, you know what I mean? Like the amount of stress and like my mind's just always ticking, you know what I mean? Like I've really lately, like just before Christmas, I took a big break from weed. So like I've been a big smoker for my whole life, pretty much, like since I was a teenager, you know. And I'm starting to reinvent my relationship with cannabis, you know what I mean? I know, as I was saying earlier, like the places that I want to go and the things that I want to do with my career and my business and stuff like that, I know that I can't be smoking like I used to, you know?
Yeah.
I'm grabbing a hold of that relationship, and that's been like really interesting to start this year being completely sober, not having smoked. I've smoked here and there on weekends since, but yeah, to be starting the year and doing those things completely sober and having a new perspective was it's unreal, man. So I think it's really to reevaluate that relationship. It's like I'm excited for what 2026 is going to hold for me, man. Like it's going to be a big year. I can feel it.
Yeah, man. No, and I can tell that you're excited, bro. I can feel that passion in you, bro, as you're talking about it. Now, and I'm glad you're talking about weed as well. Now, you do have two types of artists when it comes to weed. They believe that they are on weed because they let their creativity go, right? They like the effects of the weed gets rid of the noise, and when you're in the studio, their creativity just goes, right? And then you have the people that are sober that believe that they do their best work when they're sober, and then they smoke the weed, right? Do you feel that you perform better while you're on a substance, or do you feel that you perform off it?
I think I perform either way. It is obviously different. Like sometimes it benefits, sometimes it doesn't, and I think everyone has their own relationship with cannabis. You know what I mean? It's hard to say what other artists are like and what's going on in their head and stuff like that. But for me, it doesn't affect me either way. For me, it became a coping mechanism with all of the trauma and shit that I've been through in my life. And I've been well aware of that for a long time, and that's why it's been a thing that's been coming on the horizon for a long time for me, reevaluating my relationship with it. And I've always been just right there on the cusp and seesawing back and forth of like, oh, I'm gonna stop, and then I'll take a bit of a break, and then it's like, oh, I was back smoking full time again, and I've always been flirting with that kind of idea. Oh, sorry, bro. This might cut out in a second just because no, it should be fine. Sorry, I
That's
just
all right.
warning because I've got the timer. So when I'm on Instagram, if I'm on Instagram for too long, it'll come up with a warning to like take a break. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And it just come up because I said it a while back, because that's another thing, like even with social media and stuff like that, like reevaluating your relationship with that. Like I'm trying to do that a lot more as well. I'm trying to have a good consistency of like posting and still being present and doing that thing, but still being present in my everyday life as well, you know?
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, with the cannabis, it's not here nor there in terms of the artistry for me. Yeah, it's always been a coping mechanism, and yeah, I'm at the period now where I'm getting better with that relationship, and yeah, having a better grasp on it than I have in the past, which is a lot of people struggle with different substances. You know what I mean? It's like it's common for a bloke to go home after his trade job and go and smash a slab of beer, and it's like, oh, that's normal, you know, that's okay. But if I go home and I smoke some cannabis, it's like, oh, I don't know about that, you know. There's still a stigma around it, you know, and I don't think I think it's better if not any different, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think there's a lot of stigma around it, and some people do really need to address their relationship with it, because there is a lot of toxicity around it, and it is a coping mechanism for some people, and they abuse it. I've been lucky enough that like I kind of have been able to have a decent grasp on it, that I can still do the things that I want to do and stuff like that, and be the person I want to be. But I know that moving forward, the man that I want to be moving forward he isn't that anymore. So I think it's with anything in life, we grow older and we grow out of things, and yeah, it's just part of growing up, you know what I mean? Some people smoke, some people drink, some people do other drugs, some people go to the gym as their addiction, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different things, coping mechanisms that people have, but I think as long as we're always looking internally and reflecting on like, hey, where am I at with this? Like, am I still okay with fucking drinking a slab a night? Am I still okay with fucking going out every single weekend and doing booger sugar and all that kind of shit, you know? Yeah, so I think as long as we're always looking internally and being like, hey, are you okay with this? Like,
So you really know how to take a step back and be like, okay, just as you said, like, am I okay doing this, or are we going to be okay? Are we going to be tripping? Like, are we going to be going into a punch on? Like, are we okay to do this with our mood right now? And so you've really learned how to really think twice, if that makes sense.
yeah, I kind of like, I hear what you're saying, like that idea, but I think it's like, yeah, it's being able to reflect on you as a person, not necessarily with the substance or anything like that. It's like with anything you're doing, being able to reflect on yourself and being like, hey, am I going into this situation in the best mind state? Or yeah, as you said, like something might pop off, or hey, why am I doing this? Like I just had a shit day at work, and I had an argument with the missus, or I fucking had a road rage incident, or something's happened, and I'm seeking this channel for what I'm doing. It's like, okay, yeah, just being able to reevaluate your own shit, you know what I mean? That's a fucking big thing for people, because not many people do that.
Well, that's exactly right. Not many people do that because, well, they do unless people stop them. Unless people stop them, say, "Hey, no, like you need to calm down" or whatever. Not many people stop themselves,
Mm.
which is something that's a very rare thing. And for you to do that as well, bro, that's growth right there, bro. That's maturity right there.
Yeah,
Maturity is where you know how to stop yourself and or reevaluate situations before you do shit.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there you go. Now, do you feel like you found your sound as D-Robz, or are you still on the journey of that?
This EP that I've got coming, this is my sound right here. I've found it for sure.
Yeah.
I'm really ecstatic for this fucking EP launch. I put a lot of work into it. Like I've put songs on and taken songs off and re-recorded and done like all the back and forths, and I'm finally like, this EP's been like over a year in the making. Like I was meant to kind of try and release it last year, but it didn't quite come to fruition. So now where it's at, and I'm kind of happy that it didn't, because the tracks have reshaped and reformed into something a lot better now. And yeah, it's fucking. I'm excited, bro. It's
Yeah, I love that shit.
If I had to put something around it, it's kind of like jazzy, boom, bappy, grimy, kind of like, yeah, it's got a range of songs, but that's kind of the vibe.
Okay. So tell me also about your writing style. So do you write your lyrics or do you go by freestyle?
Yeah, so I write. I'll always like, it depends on the situation, but more often than not, I'll have a beat. I'll put a beat on and I'll just sit there when I'm in the mood, when something's happened, or when like, yeah, I just want to be creative or whatever that. I'll sit and I'll put a beat on and I'll just listen to a few beats and wait for something to hit, and when I can feel it, and then I'll start writing, you know. And I just kind of, yeah, write whatever comes and then kind of adapt it from there. And yeah, I used to just write the whole song and be like, all right, that's it. Now I'm going to record it. And that's going out. You know what I mean? Now I'm at the stage where I'm like writing and I'm like reevaluating things and rearranging things and seeing like, okay, does this still work? Can I do something different there? And something I really learned with my writing that I didn't have early on was like being able to choose what you're writing depending on your mood. So I would often write and I'd try and continue a song in a different mood compared to what I was last time, and the song would come like into something different. So yeah, I'll try to really stay in the emotions. Like if I'm happy and I'm fucking like hyped and I'm trying to write some shit, it's like, all right, what song can I work on that is that vibe, you know? So yeah, there's a lot that I've learned, and props to Michelle Kroll, as I was speaking of earlier. He's really helped me a lot, and maturing as an artist and stuff like that. It's been really cool.
No, I love that, man. Now, in your opinion, as a rapper, what makes a good bar?
Hmm. There's different levels, different versions, I think, of a good bar, because like a good bar could be like a metaphor, something like it can be just like the setup to that bar. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many layers to it that it's like it's hard to say what's a good bar. It could just be the emotional intensity of what was said there. Might not even have rhymed, you know what I mean? But it's like it hits. It's like, yeah, I think there's so many different layers to what's a good bar. Like, and then especially me as an artist, like I listen to so much different music that it's like I can never really like pinpoint like, oh, this is really good. Like this is my favorite. This is like the best, you know, like
Yeah.
same as anything in life. Like there's ebbs and flows to everything, you know, like there's positives and negatives in every single situation that you're in, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, interesting. Because there's always that conversation of, oh, this is a bar and this is not a bar, and like people love to talk about when it comes to a specific song, and people debate on what's a good bar and what's not. So I'm like, I mean, and I think for me, it's how it's delivered. How does the punchline get built up and gets delivered? Do you think it kind of works like that too?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. The setup and the delivery is like definitely a massive key. I was just about to say a perfect example of this is like Rizzy Ray. He's got a song. I think it was called Audacity or something along that line, or one of his EPs. And I listened to it, and he's got some bars in there. They're fucked up. Like the shit that he's saying is like, bro, why did you say that? But like, bro. Like he killed it, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just undeniable. You may not like be like, oh, what the fuck? Why did he say that? But it's like, fuck, it hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it made you feel some type of way when he said that bar.
It showed some kind of emotion.
Yeah, of course. Now I do want to talk about your music a little bit. Now, because I've got your Spotify up here. You've
Yeah.
got now, see, this one was very smart, considering you live in the West Side, especially Sunshine, right? Talk to me about 30/20 vision.
Yeah, so that's kind of my love letter to the area that raised me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've as a teenager, I was always out and about doing whatever I was doing. You know, hanging out with my mates and shit,
Mm.
and we would go around different areas and stuff like that. And we were always West Side hard. You know what I mean? We weren't fucking gang members or fucking like no shit like this, but it was like no, we're from the western suburbs, and I think it comes from that judgment. Like I've talked about a few times recently of like when I'm out and about and conversing with someone, introducing myself, they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm like, "Oh, I live in Sunshine." And like, "Oh, no."
Yeah.
Turn their nose up at you, and it's always been like that since I was young. You know what I mean? It's like, "Oh, you live in Scumshine or
Yeah.
whatever." You know, like we always get it, and it's like, "No, fuck you, man." Like I'm a good fucking person. I know I'm a good person. I do what I do well, and like you need to fucking respect me. You know what? Because like I'm
Right.
from Nation and like
Right.
you're nose up at me. Like nah, man. Like put some respect on my fucking name. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh man, especially when I tell people that I'm from St Albans myself, and they're like, "Oh, you're from Stab Albans, mate." I'm like, "Mate, yeah, but it's not like that no more. Like we got. I mean, back in the day, you never used to walk alone in St Albans without getting followed. Now, you just when you see like either junkies or people that are very big on substances, you just leave them alone. You don't disturb them, and you'll be fine.
In my opinion, it's always been like that, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I used to be a teenager, like, same walking around St. Albans, Deer Park, Sunshine. Like, I used to go to school in Caroline Springs, so I was often traveling from Caroline Springs to Craigieburn, which is where I
oh
ended up
wow,
staying at one period. So I was traveling a lot, and I'd travel through all different areas. Sometimes I'd be on the bus, sometimes I'd be on the train, and whatever. And I saw heaps of wild shit, you know what I mean? But like it like it's everywhere, you know. And I think the thing was back in the day, like in the '90s, in the '80s, '90s, early 2000s, whatever. It's like we didn't hear about all these things that were happening because there was no social media. So like
that's right.
we have access to every single thing that happens all over the world, everywhere, all at once. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, some dude got stabbed down the road. It's like 20, 30 years ago, or 40 years ago, or whatever, you wouldn't have heard about that, like, unless you knew someone who knew that guy, you know what I mean? Or maybe it might have been on the news if it was really bad, you know, whatever. But nowadays, we hear about every tiny little thing, you know? And, like,
Yeah.
I think people often perpetuate that, like, within their communities and shit like that. And I think every community has, as I was saying, everything has good and bad within it.
Of course,
And
yeah. But
community
then
has,
when you also look at the news, it's like, well, it's just an excuse to always make Sunshine or Deer Park or St Albans make it look bad. If
mhm.
they mention, as soon as they mention the suburb, that's when they're like, nah, this is the ghetto. I would never go there and shit like that. And
And if it's
it
in
was
other
never safe and
suburbs,
shit.
like, or in the eastern suburb or in the southeast, but when it's west, they specifically say the suburbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, I definitely agree with that. And I picked up on that as well. I'm just like, okay, so if it was. So they would say Dandenong because obviously the eastern suburbs that's the Dandenong obviously that's where the ghetto is as well. But they'll say Dandenong. They won't say southeast. They'll just say
yeah,
oh Dandenong. But then when they'll say oh St Albans or Deep Park, northwestern suburbs or shit like that. I'm like, bro, get the fuck out. Just fucking just say the suburb. Don't say fucking the area. Fuck me. Oh, but no, it's good. But you know what, bro? I don't care what anybody says. The West Side is the real side. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm not being biased right now, but like from the shit that we grew up with and the stuff that was happening, I remember this was going back like, was that 2000 and yeah, it was like 2020, yeah, 20, no, 2012, 2013, right? This is when I started driving as well. This is around the same period. And a lot of people would just be representing the where their hood's from. So you'd have St. Albans gang here, you have St. Albans gang here, Deer Park gang here as well. And like you couldn't have house parties probably without any of these cunts fucking just coming in and fucking shit up. It was crazy,
Yeah.
bro. I remember St. Albans used to be the most feared because they were the Asians with the samurai swords. Hence why, and they were
You
always
know, it's
be
funny. You want to
versing
hear?
Sunshine all the time.
You know, it's funny. You want to
Crazy.
hear a story? So, there was a specific gang that was from St. Albans back in the day. I'm not going to say any names
Of
because
course.
there's a specific gang back in the day in St. Albans that had a disagreement with one of my friends, right? About, I think it was like maybe like 30 plus people came to my school looking for my friend, and they found my friend's cousin who was there, and I saw my friend's cousin and I was like, what the fuck's going on there? I walk over, I'm like, yo, what's going on? He's like, oh, they're looking for da da da. And I was like, oh, really? And so me and my friend walk over to the oval on the other side, and it was like, my friend was like, called one of them out to like fight one on one, whatever. They started fighting a little bit, and then like they started trying to jump him, so we all got ended up getting into a fight, and then they started chasing him down the oval with a knife and shit. And like
Fucking
the
hell.
crazy thing is though, like at Carolina Springs, our school was literally across the road from the police station. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
these guys are within fucking like 200 meters or whatever. Like they're just around the corner, you know what I mean? So like it's like it all happened so quick. I'm punching on, chasing with knives, and I'm fighting, and then all this, and then the sirens would come, and then it was all everyone scattered, you know. So
Bro.
it
That,
it it's crazy.
yeah, bro. As soon as I see those lights, bro, everyone just scramble everywhere. Like just like fucking
Yeah,
some of them are fucking going around in circles. They don't know where the fuck to go. It's like,
yeah,
bro, you just trapped yourself, man. You look, there's a cop shop right fucking there. Like
yeah,
seriously. But they
yeah,
don't think about that, bro. They're just like they just want to punch on. They don't care
yeah,
about the consequences until they realize the consequences.
yeah.
Oh man. But
Unfortunately,
nah.
it's become a lot more common, and it's unfortunate that it's happening a lot more frequently. It seems like a lot more frequently with the youth. You know what I mean? Like, it seems to be a big thing these days. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, and as I was just telling a story about it, you know what I mean? Like, we've all made mistakes and shit like that, but we all at some point think like, okay, we need to do better. You know what I mean? So I just
Of course.
hope and pray that anyone that is in that fucking environment
Mm.
has some self-awareness and is able to pull themselves out and pull themselves together, because at the end of the day, the only person that can help you is yourself. You can have community around you and facilitate what you need, but if you're not willing to do the work and do what's needed to be done to get yourself out of the situation that you're in, then you're just going to be stuck there. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to help yourself and be willing to, yeah, do things for yourself.
Yeah, that's right, and that's on you as well. Anything that you want for your life, anything that is change is on you at the end of the day. It's not you can't rely on anybody else for real, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, tell me about Live Your Way.
Live Your Way. So that song I made with Jay Alexa.
Hey, shout out Jay Alexa.
Yeah, so that song is basically just about like, I guess, not giving a fuck what people think and just doing what you want to do. You know what I mean? Just living your own way, not worried about who says what and whatever. Like, if in your heart you think this is where you should be, then so be it. You know?
Mm. I like
And,
that.
and that's what's unfortunate about, as we were just talking about, if you're in a bad situation and stuff like that, you may not even realize it, but you want to be there. You know what I mean? Like you're still stuck in that trauma and that negativity and all that bullshit that everyone gets stuck in at some point in their lives. Like we all get stuck in this bad, negative place, but some people are so stuck there that they don't even realize that they're just perpetuating it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Okay. I like that. Now, this is going to be two more questions and then we're done, bro. Now, tell me about your top five favorite rappers of all time.
So I've got my top 10 on my hands pretty much.
Oh, okay.
So we got
Let's do
Park,
top 10. Fuck it.
we got Park, we got Wu-Tang, we got Biggie Smalls, 50 Cent, Eminem, Mac Miller. We got OVO, but I think I might get that one covered up sooner or later.
Excellent. Excellent.
We got
Excellent.
Jason, we got Kendrick, and we got Chance.
Love it.
So
I love it.
and that's probably not really doing my top 10 justice, but I think these were the names that kind of like, I guess, fed my love of music and kind of like molded where I wanted to be as an artist, and like I really liked their artistry and what they did and shit like that. So there's probably a lot more names that like I should have there, but that's what I got.
Yeah, I love that, bro. I love it. And I love how you're very prepared because every time I ask this, they always have to think about it, but you're just like, you know what? Ha, I got it all here. It's all good. Love that shit, bro.
But yeah,
Now, for
my
his,
top five would be my right hand, I reckon, for sure.
yeah, hell yeah.
So this is like old school, this is new school, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I like that.
because I'm a 90s baby, so it's like I was on that cusp of like old school hip hop and like the fucking raw shit, and then
Yeah,
like the newer age, you know?
yeah, I love that shit. Now, one more question. If you were stuck on an island and you can listen to three albums, what would they be?
Ooh, fuck. This is gonna be harder. Um, I have to be ready to die. Um, fuck. I have to be the Chronic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, last one. What did I
Last one.
choose?
You could say that what was the album that really motivated you to push forward and really just whatever situation you were in, what was the go-to album for that?
Ooh. A lot of high school days was J. Cole, so it'd have to be like Sideline Stories or Friday Night Lights or something. Maybe, yeah,
Okay.
something by Cole would have to be.
Okay. No, I love that, bro. Love that, man. Well, that's it from my end. Was there anything you wanted to ask me or anything you wanted to talk about at all?
Yeah, I just want to bring up a couple of things. I
Yes.
just want to plug out a few things that I've got coming up, if that's all right.
Go
Um,
nuts, bro. Stage is yours.
I got Donkey Man podcast on the 1st of February. That's coming up, so
Woo.
excited for that. And then we got Breaking Bread battles on the 7th of February, which is my birthday.
Hey.
We got Takeoff on the Friday, which unfortunately I didn't get a chance to get tickets to. But then we got Homecoming on the Saturday, which is the 7th, which is my birthday. So if you're going to be there, make sure you're ready.
Fuck yeah.
Then we got 13th of Feb, we got the Rapture show, which I'm performing on. Barticus has organised it with Taylor. And yeah, that's on the Friday the 13th at Chaser's Lounge, or Chaser's Bar on Chapel Street. So that's going to be another mad night. And I think that's going to be my little unofficial birthday, you know what I mean? So if anybody wants to come and celebrate for my birthday, come down on the 13th and we'll party.
Yeah,
There's
I
a few
love that
people
shit, bro.
around that period as well. I think ACP's got his birthday. I think maybe Barty's birthday is around that time as well. So there's a few artists' birthdays, so it's going to be a good night.
It's gonna be a big one too. Hell yeah, bro. Fuck yes.
And
All
sorry,
right.
friends, I've
Yeah.
got my EP coming in late March. EP will release in late March, and the EP launch party will be in mid to late April. So just stay tuned for all that shit.
Yeah, I love that shit, man. Anything else before we go?
Nah, that's it. I appreciate you having me on, bro. Good chatting to you, and yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, bro. Fuck yeah, man. And I want to say thank you to the people that have joined in. This will be on YouTube and Spotify as well. Please go follow Dee-Robz and his music, as well as if you need fencing done, you contact this man. And yeah, bro. And yeah, you have a good day. Enjoy. Try to stay cool in the hell that we're in right now. And
Yeah,
yeah, bro. All right.
yeah. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
All right.
Take it easy,
See you
brother.
guys.
See you, people.